You're listening to the Level Best Network.
This is the INTERCOT Insider Live, episode 168. Now in Dolby Surround Sound. The INTERCOT Insider Live is brought to you by Magical Journeys, the official partner of INTERCOT.com since just about the time we started our site many years ago. Hook up with Nancy and crew to plan your next Disney vacation, your next Universal vacation, your next cruise, your next pretty much anything vacation. They'll help you out, get you there, get you the best prices, and they will do it with style and a smile.
Ooh, I like that.
I know, right? I just came up with that. That was good. Style and a smile. I'm going to trademark that right now. Magical Journeys, our friends, our partners for many of our 27 some odd years of being online. Hi there, everybody. This is John. I am the MCP. I am here along with newly crowned Floridian Justin. Justin.
Me? Yes.
Hey.
Hi. How are
Hi.
you?
Hi.
Long time no see. Haven't been on in a minute.
I know it's been a hot minute, although you have been commenting on the last few episodes.
Yes, I'm being called out for it too. So yeah.
Well, that's what we do. It's
what we do. He was kibitzing from the sidelines.
When you're in moving hell, it's tough to jump on.
Yeah,
there's only two of you. I had to move six of us.
Yeah,
but you had five other people to help you.
You're a noob. Are you kidding? You clearly have never had kids. You think my kids were helpful? They were a hindrance. I'm putting stuff on the truck. They're taking it back off again.
Exactly.
I would say the same about my wife, but I'll get in trouble.
No, you would not say the same thing about your wife.
No,
your wife is amazing, and we all love her.
No, do not do that.
Is that inside my head?
That would, pretty much.
That came out.
Oh, okay. But yes, we moved down. Officially, we got the place as of June 1st. We had the movers show up here June 9th, and then we were here for a few days, and went back to New York to finish cleaning out everything up there. And then we came back this past when did we come back? Friday. So,
okay, hold on a second. Hold on a second.
Sure.
We also have Ian with us, who has also become a resident of Florida, and Carolyn, resident of Canada, one half of the nation of Canada, who hopes to be
one day I'll be a snowbird.
A snowbird in Florida at some point.
Okay, she's going to be our neighbor too.
Yep.
So just real quick, back to the story, because I'm just curious. So you did like the auto train down and stuff. I think a lot of people are kind of curious about that and how that works and whatever.
It's something that we've talked about doing for years. And it was just like, and then I drove down, I left New York on Friday. Dawn was flying down Saturday with our precious little kitty cat. And
what's the kitty cat's name again?
Bella.
Bella, that's right.
Yes,
okay.
Miss Bella Boo McCarthy. So
right.
If I don't say the full name, I'll get yelled at. So,
but in fairness, you'll get yelled at anyway. So
that is true. So she is a complete indoor kitty. She never goes out of that house. Even like when she goes to the vet, she loses her mind. So we figured if we drove down with her, that might be just a little too much for that whole time. Okay. So then I was driving, and then a friend of mine was like, "Hey, why don't you look into the auto train?" I was like, "Yeah, you know what? Maybe I will." So I did it myself with the car. I booked just a regular train seat. Mm-hmm. Not the greatest. Couldn't really
This is a train you put your car on, and
right. It leaves out of Lorton, Virginia.
Right, Lorton, Virginia, and it leaves at 5 p.m. and goes straight through, no stops, to Sanford, which is a little north of Orlando.
Right.
Just about
so you don't
40
sit
minutes
in your car.
No, that would be funny if you did.
Like a ferry, you go and you sit in the train part.
Yes, there's four categories. There's the train seat, regular train seat. Yeah. There's a roomette, which is very small room with 2 chairs and a bunk bed. Basically becomes a bunk bed. Mm-hmm. Then there's a room which has the same thing, becomes a bunk bed, but you have a little sink, a little sitting area, and then you have your own bathroom, which doubles as a shower. And
how we've all been on this train ride.
It's long.
It takes
17 hours. think it's 17 hours. It leaves at 5 p.m. and gets in at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's supposed to get in earlier than that. Usually
Well-
it gets in at 10 a.m. But
Well,
it's supposed to get in a little earlier than that.
The
It is
first time I took
Amtrak.
it, we got in late. We got in at like 10:40.
It is very often late.
Yeah.
Right. So I did that, and then it was about another almost hour ride from the train station to my house here.
That's
And
neat.
then when we went back up to New York, we drove the whole way up, and it's a long ride. I mean, we've all done that ride, so it's well, northish. And
Right.
then
Carolyn's laughing at us because she drives down from Toronto.
Right.
From
yeah.
like, yeah, from where I
Have
was.
have you done it straight, Carolyn?
Close to.
Yeah.
How many hours is it?
Well, the shorter way is to go through the South Carolina and is it 95 or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
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 That's shaves off maybe like an hour or two, but
Okay.
if you've ever driven that way, you could go a long time without seeing a gas station or like a
Mhm.
restaurant or a bathroom. So we've always just gone the 75. So
Okay.
it takes about 22, 23 hours.
I think
Because when we drove up, it was 17.
Yeah.
I think
So,
Carolina is a little better about that right now. Although, quite frankly, the road is not great. It's still
No.
2 lanes.
Now,
Yeah.
Taylor and I just did it like a couple weeks ago. We drove
Yeah.
home because we went up to Philly to pick up her car to bring it down for the summer.
Yes.
And we made it home. We stopped, so this doesn't count, obviously, sleeping. But driving time, we made it in 15 hours from Philadelphia.
Because you're roughly about
Which is
2
about
hours south of
The
where.
best I've done in a long time. Yeah, but
Yeah, you're
the
about 2
traffic
hours
is so bad, like sometimes that you
Yep.
just, it's especially in Virginia and North,
Yeah.
like it's
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
god awful.
having left from the Maryland, DC, Virginia area before, I think the best I ever did was about 12, which makes sense then because it's about
Yeah,
3
that's
hours.
like 3
Yeah.
hours. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
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 From my house on when I went down the first time, from my house to the train station was 4.5 hours.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's about right.
Yeah.
So, and then when we just did it the other day, it was longer than that because there was a lot of traffic.
I was
So-
going to say, you must have done it. You must have gotten kind of lucky with traffic because it often takes us from Philly like 3 hours.
Right.
And you guys are probably at least 2 hours north of us in
Yeah,
Philadelphia.
an hour and a half to 2 hours, something like that. So
So
then we
anyway,
just did
you
it
took
the
it-
other day, and
took the
we
train.
actually booked the room.
Yeah.
And then it was much better. You had the
What-
beds and everything.
What are the cost differential from like again? I'm
It's a
asking
lot.
this because I've always been curious about this. Like where what is the seat versus
A
get the
seat is
basic
like,
room?
If I
I
remember
mean, depending on when
correctly-
you go, the seats are like $40-$50 a lot of times.
No,
Again, it
it's a lot
depends.
more than that.
Obviously, it depends
Oh,
when you
Oh, that
go
was a
and when you
lot.
book.
you give us the most recent pricing.
I want to
Ignore-
say with the
ignore Ian.
car, because we had booked the roomette, but then we upgraded. They had like this automatic upgrade for $89 to the
Okay.
room.
Okay.
I want to say it was $1,100
Yeah, it's not cheap.
for both of us with the car.
Right.
With
So-
the car, yeah, that would
With
be
the
an
car,
extra.
yeah. So and
Now we did 5 of us coach, not the room. We did
Right.
5 of us coach, 2 cars, and it was like 1,500.
Oh, sounds like a pretty good deal.
I want to say when I took it myself with the car and the train seat, I want to say it was just under 500. I want to say it was like 480 or something like that. So it
Yeah,
wasn't.
now Justin's car is cheaper than ours because Trish and I both have big SUVs. So that makes a big difference. I think, Justin, you said you paid like 200 for yours.
I think it was 250 for the car. If I
Yeah,
remember.
ours is like
by weight or
500
something,
or something like
or
that.
how do they
No,
judge
it's
it?
by
They
size.
have, they have classifications of the cars, and I don't know. I thought ours was considered just a regular standard size
Like
car.
an auto, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So,
ours is like 2 classes above what you have to book because mine
Gotcha.
is like the big, like I forget what they call it, oversized. So
But
Okay.
yeah, I mean, it was an experience. It was a good experience. And when you book the roomette or the room, you get a dinner and a breakfast.
Okay.
Included. And when we got there, we were a little late. You have to have your car checked in no later than 3:00, even though the train doesn't leave till 5, because they have to do the whole thing with getting the cars settled. and
Yeah,
everything.
moved from the lot onto the train and things
Right.
like that. Yeah, exactly.
So when we got there, they said the only thing that was left available was a 8:00 dinner time or 7:30 in your room. So we opted to have the dinner in the room. So
yeah, I would do
you
that.
have
too.
you have
That'd be
an
nice.
attendant, and he just brought it in. You ordered, and he just brought it in a
How
bag.
was
and
it?
fancy.
Well, we got the signature dish, which was some kind of steak.
Okay.
It was actually
What
actually
was it,
good.
Justin?
The signature
Steak.
to steak.
Yeah,
Oh
it's a
yeah, the steak.
signature
Yeah,
dish.
it's
Flat iron, not a flat iron.
it's like a
something-
flat iron.
Yeah,
It is. It's a
it
flat
was
iron.
relatively
It's
good. I
They're
mean,
okay.
so
Okay.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I wouldn't take the train just for the meal. But
No, but I mean, it's kind of like being on an
It was
airplane.
edible.
At least
And
if
you
it's
also get
edible,
a,
you're like, okay,
you also get a complimentary alcoholic beverage
yeah,
with dinner, so,
Which is
That
good.
was good, right?
which is nice.
And
Can you
then
bring your
in the-
own
you
on?
got that going.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
You can
Oh.
bring anything.
Oh,
So,
okay.
And then in the morning, everybody,
That's
even
nice.
in the regular seats, gets like a continental breakfast, which was like cereal, banana, orange juice,
Yeah.
this really delicious crumb cake,
Oh,
coffee and whatnot.
crumb-
But
crumb.
then for the sleeper car guests, we also got to go. We could do that or go sit down, and they had a choice of like 4 different things.
Like in the dining car.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
an egg sandwich.
That's
I don't
very
remember what else.
sophisticated. I
But
like this.
they put you with other people, obviously, because there's limited tables.
Right. But I don't hate the idea.
so
I
they
mean,
sent us with a nice couple.
you're getting your car transported, plus then if you think about it, like you would in a plane ticket or something like that. Like let's say plane ticket, $300 a person. That's about $6. Plus you're getting your car, and yeah, it's a little more expensive than that. But
It's definitely
Right.
more expensive. But like for us, for example, when we go home
yeah,
for Christmas,
Yeah.
like we have to bring one car is just full of Christmas presents. Like we could
well,
never
that
get
and it
that on a
saves you the
plane.
car rental too for
Right,
for
yeah.
a week or
And
whatever.
like
or
we
2
there's
weeks.
we have 4 drivers now,
Yeah.
so like we need at least 2 cars. So we would have to rent
And that's
2
the
cars.
issue I have. My wife doesn't drive. So it's like all
Right.
that driving is all on me, which I don't mind. But,
Interesting.
when you're in the car for a certain amount of time, your vision starts getting a little
Mhm.
fuzzy.
It's
So
way
like,
better
okay,
than
I
driving.
decide.
Like I'm at the age and point in my life now where that drive is just like pure
And
misery.
when we drove up, I filled up 3 times with gas.
Yeah,
3 complete
and
fills.
gas
On
ain't
this,
as
it was
cheap
just
as it
one.
used to be. So
Right. On this, it was just 1 fill up before we left, and I
Right.
made it, to Virginia, and then I was even putting around down here for a little bit before I had to go get gas.
Okay.
So,
So
Well,
you're
that
good.
sounds good.
You've taken the train. You're getting settled in there.
yes,
And you're in the Orlando area.
we're in Winter Garden.
Okay, which
Winter
is
Garden. So
very
yeah.
familiar. And
Yeah.
so how far from Disney for those who don't necessarily know where
About 20
Winter Garden?
minutes
Yeah.
from my parking lot to the parking lot of whatever theme park we're going to is roughly
Very
20 minutes,
nice.
give or take. So
Very
Lucky
nice.
duck.
yeah, it's nice. So we have a lot of friends down here, so we've seen a bunch of them. And today, Ian and I and our wives were over at Magic Kingdom. So we
Yeah.
had a lovely day over there.
Yes, we
And
did. Little
yeah,
lunch,
then
little
had a
drinks.
little lunch, a little Trader Sam's, and now here we are entertaining or trying to
Oh.
entertain you people.
Awesome. So I guess we'll go next into where I talk a bunch.
I'm gonna take
Where-
a nap.
Yeah,
So
well, you guys
Wake me up when you're done.
feel free to interject and ask questions as we go along. So
yeah, no, I'm interested.
Just
Where-
right before you do,
yeah.
I just want to give
Go ahead.
a shout out, since we were talking about Magical Journeys before.
yeah, absolutely.
To Nancy. We're booking a couple of cruises. We normally deal
Okay.
with Wendy, but Wendy had to pass us along to Nancy. And
Nancy's
Nancy, right back with the emails and everything. That I mean, we know Magical Journeys is great, but Nancy is just fantastic.
She's on top of it. Let me tell
Yes.
you.
So
she
I
is.
just
She's-
wanted to
And
give a
listen,
shout out
we
to Will
because
Fun
we
and
live
Dr.
here,
Doc.
I don't really use her anymore, and also
Mhm.
my wife's a travel agent. But Karen is the
Right.
best too.
Okay.
Like we
Yes.
loved Karen. She was
A lot of
awesome.
people have
Karen-
told us about Karen. Yeah.
Oh,
yes,
she's
Karen
amazing.
booked
Go ahead.
my trip coming up this week, and she booked for Jennifer and I in August. Karen
Nice.
is super quick too. Oh my gosh,
Yes,
you send her
she
an email
is.
and she's like right back with pricing
Yeah.
and blah blah blah.
The absolute best, like just
Yeah.
the best.
So
Yeah.
just, I mean, we talk about Magical Journeys, and we all have used them, and they are
Mhm.
fantastic. So you should use them too.
There you go.
You. Okay, go ahead, John.
Absolutely. Oh, no, well, yeah, for
It's
those
your
who
podcast.
it's our podcast. This is a collective.
It's our
thing.
time, Mr. Hand.
Yeah. Isn't it our time? 3 weeks we've been speaking about the Plaid Amendment. What are you people on dope? Yeah. So bottom line. For
Bottom
those that have
line?
been following along. Yeah. Well, sorry, it happens, Justin.
The bottom line.
Bottom line. I went to Tokyo, which I
Yes,
had
you
some
did.
business with my daytime job. Yes, I work a daytime job. I'm a
He's got a
director.
daytime job.
I'm a director of communications for a. What song is that? You got a daytime job?
Sultans of Swing by Dire
Yes,
Straits.
that's it. I knew you were referencing something there.
Yeah.
I was like trying to run it through my head, but I can't.
We were at
think
the
and
beach
talk and
yesterday,
come up with lyrics.
and the
this
guy was
evening.
playing it when we were in the restaurant, and it was in
Daytime
my
job.
head. And you
He's
said
doing
that.
all right.
Anyway, sorry,
All right.
I derailed us. Continue.
So no, it's okay. So yeah, I have a regular job, and we were actually going over to Tokyo because I was directing some commercials, believe it or not, of our members and showing how cool they are. Had a guy that was on the Wi-Fi 6 working group and networked satellites together. Had another one that was working on imaging with Hitachi Corporation, and I mean it amazing. We've got amazing people that work with the company I work for, but as a result, I get to travel to Tokyo. It was for 9 days. So of course, as part of that, I wanted to do 2 days in Tokyo Disneyland and then Tokyo Disney Sea, because I've widely heard that Disney Sea is absolutely the best Disney park globally. Okay. So before I get into that, let me just tell you, and I will try and make this part quick, but you've got to appreciate those who follow along with me.
Never book a flight
understand
with John.
that
just never travel with John, ever.
I tend to have issues flying sometimes, and a lot of it is because I fly out of a small to medium-sized airport, typically, which is either Hilton Head Island Airport or Savannah Hilton Head International Airport, which is about 40 minutes from me. Typically, if I'm going someplace other than Washington, D.C., I'm flying out of the second of that. But what that means essentially is I connect through lots of airports, whether it be Charlotte, whether it be Dallas, or in this case, ultimately, and you'll find out, I connected through Boston. So I went through a streak of about 6 weeks where I was traveling consecutive, 5 trips over the course of 6 weeks, 6 weeks total, being kind of gone and then back, gone back. And I earned a lot of miles, let me tell you, during that time period. And also had a lot of frustrations, including being bumped, coming back from the West Coast into Dallas, Fort Worth, and basically circling for about an hour and a half, and essentially running out of fuel and being diverted to Oklahoma City and staying overnight there. And this is just kind of part of business travel. If you're in it, you know, the later in the day you leave, the better your chances are of
Disaster.
possibly not making it home. Yeah, or disaster. So when I was getting ready to fly to Tokyo, I think it was on a Thursday.
Thursday. It was a
yeah.
Thursday.
So Wednesday afternoon, I get a text message that essentially says your flight is canceled. Not your trip is canceled. Your flight is canceled. We're working on rebooking you. And this is the next day. And I'm thinking, I got to go out there. I got to do commercials. I've got all these things set up. Now, granted, I left some time in front of shooting the commercials because I knew I was going to do some personal days, because you don't go on the other side of the world. It's a 13-hour time difference between here, 13 hours ahead, and not spend some time there. Okay. You just don't do that. I went to Australia once, spent 4 days there, and came home. We'll never do that again. And that was 24 hours out, 26 back. This one,
you may never get back there either, right? Like,
Right.
it's not like it's around the corner. So sure, yeah, you're gonna go. You're gonna take advantage of it.
That was my thought. Absolutely, I'm going to do that. So I plan to go out there a little bit early. So Wednesday, my flight out is early. Thursday morning, 7 o'clock or something like that, 7 or 8 o'clock. One of those early flights. And I get a notification, it's canceled. And then I'm like, oh, crap. And by the time I get on the phone and dial up, I've been essentially rebooked. And instead of going from Savannah to Dallas to Tokyo, I'm now going Savannah, Miami, Dallas, Tokyo. Okay. Which essentially it was getting me there almost the same time. I had about an hour layover. I thought, okay, that's just enough time to get between the gates. Great. Okay, great. Go to bed. I'm packed, ready to go. I go to bed. 4 a.m. I get up, right? 3 something, maybe 3:30, 4 a.m. We were just talking about this, Carolyn, right? There's 3 a.m. wake up calls going on a flight. Yikes.
Not fun.
Not fun. I get up right about there. I before I even get into the shower, like I see a thing come up and it's like, your flight has been canceled. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? So I'm like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do here. And then before I know it, click, okay, it's been rebooked. And it's essentially going the same route, but it's a much tighter window. It's like 40 minutes. So I'm like, okay, great. Hop in the shower. No problem. I hop in the shower. I come out. I get out the front door before I actually turn the key on the car.
Oh no.
To pull out of the driveway, your flight has been canceled.
Now, quick question.
Somebody's
I know
just
you were
having
going for
fun.
9 days, but
Somebody's
were you
just like, ha 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 ha.
Yeah, I know.
were you traveling with carry-ons or were you checking bags?
Oh, actually, I was checking back. I was going to check a bag for this. And there's, when you're going that long, you kind of have.
Yeah.
I had a bunch of stuff that I was bringing with you. But by the way, Carol and everyone, it's okay to laugh at this because I mean, it's just the ridiculous.
We don't need your permission. We were laughing.
Oh,
Yeah,
we
I
were
know
laughing.
of what it, and I get it. You're not laughing at me. You're laughing at
No,
the situation.
We're laughing at the irony of the not
Just-
irony. That's the wrong word. The absurdity of
the
the
absurdity
situation.
of the situation. So,
Yeah.
so I was like,
Absurdist humor is what it is.
I was like, okay, this is not great. So anyway, I pull out of the drive. I'm figuring at this point, I got to just go. I'm just going things because they say they're going to work on rebooking me.
Now, which
So-
airport were you going to? The Savannah?
I'm going to Savannah, which is
So that's
40
40
minutes
minutes.
down the road. Okay. 45 minutes down the road. Okay. Before I hit the bridge across Hilton Head, which is less than 10 minutes from my house, like 8 minutes, 10 minutes from my house, I get another notice your flight has been canceled. Like,
Were you?
No.
Was there
Someone's
maybe just
messing
like
with you.
No.
right? Like was there? I feel like there was like it was just broken and it just kept sending the same text over and over again.
I don't know. I started to wonder that myself. So at that point, I'm driving and I'm trying to dial the American 800 number to get on the phone and rebook my trip or talk to somebody about this. And of course, I get through and it's we see you're
have to
calling
wait
about your
900
your
minutes.
flight. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Your
Your
the
approximate wait time is
we
3
can
years.
call you back in 4 hours. I'm like, that's not gonna work. So I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna go to the
Talk
airport.
to a real person there.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm gonna go to the airport. This is fine. I'll talk to a real person because this is the only way this is gonna get worked out. I got to figure out a way to get to Tokyo. Okay, so at that point, then I get another notice. Okay, you've actually been rebooked now, and now you're going to go from Savannah to Charlotte, which is another one of American's hub, to Boston, and then Boston to Tokyo. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. And then I look kind of at the phone and I realize they have me leaving now an hour before I was supposed to leave previously.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh,
and
so
this is
it's
an
not
internet. Well, no, it's not. I guess it wasn't international until you got to Boston. so-
right. Correct. But still, you figure, I was leaving fairly early because I typically do. I don't like to be stressed.
Well,
when
yeah.
I
If
get
I was
to the
headed for
airport.
Tokyo, I would.
Right. But as Carolyn was pointing out just a minute ago, making
Suddenly
sounds
your
and everything.
foot hits the
Yeah, so
accelerator.
I'm headed out to I-95, which then I-95 goes south, and then you get off at the Pooler exit and then go to the Savannah Hilton Head International Airport. I am now doing about 85 down 95. Speed limit is 75. So I'm booking. Like I'm trying to keep under that 10 over thing,
How much
just
time?
under.
How much time till the
So
doors close?
yes. So if I got there at the time that they said I needed to get there in order, I was going to get there about 40 minutes before the flight, 40 maybe.
Yeah,
and
which is like,
which
for
is
a domestic flight, that's not terrible.
not terrible, but I needed to check bags. I didn't know how that was going to go.
Definitely tight, but doable.
Yeah. And not to mention the fact that I was supposed to travel. I had upgraded my whole trip going out there.
Of course. Yeah.
Now I was in business class. I wasn't in first class on the international flight. So I was in the second tier of thing. I had big seats, but I didn't have the lay flat things. But I had upgraded the other things. Of course, now that's all out the window, like it's just like, well, we're just going to put you on some flight or whatever.
Yeah, you're just crossing your fingers. You don't get stuck in the middle seat at that point.
You never know. So anyway, I get 10 minutes out from the airport. I'm actually on the airport road coming into the airport, and I get the notice your flight's been canceled.
I'm telling you, someone is just
So
sitting
I have
there,
a question.
they see your name and they're just going, I'm just going to.
I have the email.
Do you know why? Like, was it weather or like what was?
I would guess the Dallas Fort Worth thing,
because the Dallas, I know there was a ton of really bad storms over Dallas, like the last couple of, because I flew in and out of Dallas. And I actually just happened to work. We have a big office in Dallas, so I happened to work with a ton of people from Dallas, and they were all complaining of, how bad it's been getting in and out of there. So, I mean, I guess it was the weather.
I will say I looked it up post trip, and in the month of May, not June, okay, but in the month of May, approximately like 45% of all flights through Dallas were delayed.
Wow.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I got in and out, but I got in and out, no problem. Like
early in the day.
No,
usually,
I did.
But for me,
out.
That's why it surprised me the day before that I got canceled. But what happened was the flight from Dallas late in the day did not make it out coming to Savannah, which meant there was no plane there in the morning for me to take out. So then they had to rebook me. All right. So anyway, 10 minutes out, get the thing that says canceled. Before I get to the garage pulling in, I get another notice that says you've been rebooked. And essentially it was the same flight, but it was leaving an hour later. So they didn't cancel my flight. Now they pushed it back an hour later. Everything was fine from that point forward. Actually, very smooth sailing. Everything pretty much left on time. I got to Tokyo. However, there was a little wrinkle in all of this that I didn't notice until the point where I went to leave Tokyo. and that was...
This is a great story.
No, this is like, again, this is only me. Like, I didn't notice that when they rebooked me into a different airport than I originally booked myself into. So I had originally booked myself into the Tokyo airport, which is about 15, 20 minutes from downtown. Okay. And then there's another one, Narita, which I went to, apparently flew in to, which is about an hour outside of Tokyo. Okay. And so when it came time to leave, then at the end of my trip, I booked the bus to get there. And I was like, okay, well, where am I going back to? Well, I came in here. So yeah, that's the one I go to.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How did they change your return flight?
They didn't change the return flight. They changed the going there flight coming into a different airport. And I did not.
You just assumed.
I assumed at that point, because remember, previously I had booked in and out of the same airport. So in my small brain here,
I just thought the same thing.
Assumed.
What if you had booked like a rental car to be picked up at
Right.
that original
You
airport?
totally would have been
And
screwed.
now you're going to a different airport.
Right.
Wow.
Right. Absolutely. So I don't think this is so far-fetched, but still, this is typical me, in that I took the bus and I put in, I was like, okay, Terminal 3. And the guy even asked me getting onto the bus, he's like, which terminal? I said, Terminal 3. He's like, okay. I was like, okay, that's odd. And
Don't
then
you love when people do that? You're like, couldn't you have just said?
You just said that normally people don't go to that terminal, like that are flying overseas. Yeah, it would have been nice if the bus driver would have said that, but
instead of it being Terminal 1, 2, 3, it's A, B, C.
Right. But anyway,
so Terminal 3. You mean C?
No,
I mean 3.
So I was the first one dropped off at Terminal 3. I was the only one who got off the bus, and he got my luggage, and I was like, this is weird. Something's weird. I couldn't figure out. Yeah, it was a little quiet. Thought it'd be a little bit busier. Okay, so I grabbed my.
Should have told you.
Well, I grabbed my luggage and I figure, well, worst case, I told them the wrong terminal, or I don't know what I'm talking about, and I just will probably have to walk or whatever, or catch a bus to the other terminal. No problem. So I get inside and I look, and I don't see JAL or JAL. Don't see Japan Airlines at all. I just don't see them I don't see any American Airlines. I don't see anything. And I'm like, this is weird. It's really weird. And so I go over to the information thing and I'm like, I hold up my phone. Where is JAL? Where do I go? I'm supposed to go out at this time. Where is this? And she looks at me and she goes, that's the other airport. I'm like, oh no. And at that point, I'm like, well, how do I get there? How do I, I'm like, I got an international flight at 10:30. Like, and so it's 7 something in the morning now. I admittedly, I left to be there 3 to 3.5 hours ahead of time. So again, my paranoia about just everything. So anyway, she gives me a thing and she's like, here you go. Here's the train schedule. Here's what you do. You do this and this. And I'm like, that's going to get me to the airport after my flight leaves. So I was like, taxi, maybe? And she's like, yes, taxi. And she starts bolting. She's like, follow me. We start running. We're like booking, running out, down, outside. There's like an old guy in a late model Toyota taxi down there who's kind of like doing one of these, like sleeping. And she's like,
you
yeah. And she starts explaining to him, and I obviously speaking in Japanese, and I'm like, please, just dumb American here, please. And so we hop in. And I pull up the Waze, and he's booking like he's doing, didn't do over the speed limit, but he was like solid the whole way there. And by the way, kept it very cold, which probably kept me from sweating the whole way there. Bottom line is, I looked in Waze, it's an hour drive, an hour.
Oh my God.
From one airport to the other airport. So we're booking, and I'm praying the traffic isn't going to get messed up or whatever. So anyway, I looked in Waze, and it said if everything went well, I would get there an hour and a half ahead of time. And indeed we did. Long story short, got there, literally checked in my bags. My gate was just beyond security, like literally on the other side. I had so much time that I actually had breakfast and a beverage at the club, got to relax a little bit and made it home. But yeah, so these are the travel challenges that
where
I
was your
experienced.
flight going home? That was from Tokyo to where?
It went Tokyo through Dallas and then to Savannah. So it went the way it was supposed to go. So it was the originally booked
That's not
flight.
bad. Just 2 flights. That's not bad.
Yeah, no, and not bad. Actually, even the one that had, went out through Boston, Charlotte, and then Boston was fine too. That was not bad. So anyway, all right, on to the stuff that you really want to hear about, other than my misery, which is
this is
actually,
my
I
first
love your
question
misery.
is,
go ahead, Carolyn.
When you fly into Tokyo and now you're like, okay, I'm in an airport.
Right.
How the heck do I get to Tokyo Disneyland? Like, I would be like, I don't know what that says, and I can't read that, and I'm lost. Help me. And I would probably cry. Is it crying worthy, or is it
No. So, okay, a couple things. Of course, I had done some research ahead of time, and also had a son who had just been to Tokyo previously. So it was not as bad as you thought. And also signs in and around Tokyo are in US or English rather, and also Japanese. So you get both. So it's not too bad. And I had heard you could take the train, which coming in, I did not want to deal with that. I just wanted to go to my hotel. And so there was a bus company that would take you direct from there. They would pick you up and take you and drop you off directly at your hotel, which I was staying at the Tokyo Hilton, which is very convenient, by the way.
Is it at Disneyland?
No, but I wasn't going to Disneyland till the next day.
Oh, okay.
So I was going to my hotel the first day. So essentially, I mean, I want to say it was like $25-$30 or something, maybe.
Now, did you have that pre-booked, or did that have to all change?
I was trying to, this was a great question. I was trying to figure out how to do it on the app altogether. And then I couldn't figure out quite how to do it. And I was worried about the times being off and maybe not getting there on time and stuff, doing it in advance. So when I got off, I just noticed there was a big thing that said bus transfers, blah, blah, blah. And it looked like it might be the same company. And I went to the guy and I showed him the app. I said, is this the same thing? He said, yes. And then they had kiosks and I just like punched it out. And in
English?
Yeah. Everything, like you can choose to, even like I went out for ramen dinner at a ramen restaurant, and you ordered on kiosks, and then later at another restaurant, same thing, I ordered on a kiosk. You could choose English.
Okay.
So that was one thing I will tell you. Yeah, I did not feel too bad. There were times where I felt a little bit lost, but language wise, but overall it was not bad, especially in Tokyo. Tokyo is very kind of accommodating as far as that. Even like Starbucks, they have a English sort of menu and they'll give it to you and you just kind of point, just say, I want this or that, or
give me this.
Yeah, please give me that one. So bottom line, got there, took the bus, and then I thought I was going to go out and do a ton of exploring. Did not do that. Instead, I was super tired, and jet lag is real. Let me tell you, especially when you're exactly opposite of what your regular time clock is. And we were 13 hours ahead. It's, 9 a.m. is 9 p.m. And, but all the, that kicked my butt. But I figured, you know what better way to take care of that than go to Disneyland the next day. So,
Disney solves everything.
Yeah. So it was about a $30 or $40, maybe $45 cab ride. By the way, exchange rate is super great in Tokyo right now. Things are super cheap. Tickets to get into Disney were $50 or $55, something like that. I mean,
is that like a park hopper?
No,
do they have park hoppers.
I don't think they have them. Unless you stay at the resorts there. I don't think you can
only go to one a day.
Yeah, you choose which one you want to go to, which is fine. And especially for a first-time visitor, I was perfectly happy with that. So I chose to go to Disneyland first. Observations about Disneyland, in case you're curious. And I don't have too many because I felt very familiar, but like I was also at the same time a stranger in a bizarro movie. Like things were in different places and sort of, where you know your way. You guys know this feeling when you walk into Disney parks now. You know your way, whether it be California or East Coast. You know where you're going.
Adventureland is to the left.
Right. Yeah. Right. You know where you're going. You know where to get your snacks. You know what you're going to do. Well, this was a little bit different. And, you know, the whole entrance at Main Street, I liked better there. All covered, but a little more extensive straight ahead, and then had a couple side streets as well. That was cool. Pirates was kind of a combination of West Coast and East Coast. Sort of somewhere in between the two.
Neat.
Okay.
I still think
they have Jack Sparrow and all that.
yes, they do. And by the way, they still have the redhead. They still wants the redhead.
Ian and I were having a discussion about that today.
Yep. You were? Really?
Yeah.
We were?
Okay.
Well, we were complaining about the "we once" or a 10 for a hen line.
Yeah.
Oh God! Oh, just awful
script writing. It's
just awful.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's still the original essentially. They are before being changed. But
does
Captain
everybody
Jack
know, by the way, about like Tokyo Disneyland and how it's not run by Disney? Like, because that is unique. Like, I'm not sure everybody knows
that. Yeah, 55% owned by the Oriental Land Company, 45%
and completely run and operated by the Oriental Land
They
Company.
just license the Disney characters and names.
Correct.
And stuff.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. And they had Imagineers go over and design.
So they run them as they would.
They have Splash Mountain too, by the way.
Wow.
Yes.
So it exists. And their Space Mountain is about to be torn down and replaced, which if you get a chance, take a look at the concept art for that. That is looking pretty spectacular.
It's going to be a new Space Mountain or like a new version. So they're just ripping it down and starting over.
Yeah, it looks like, I mean, it looks like they're starting from scratch.
Yeah, it's going to be like a modern, like top notch, like
really organic looking exterior kind of you know, not like what the US parks look like now. Right now it looks like the US parks. The ride on the inside was again, I think California was smoother. You know, where you've got Disney World, which could use to be replaced. It's just a rickety mess, and theirs is somewhere in between the two. But doesn't have the music in car and things like that, but still pretty good experience, but it's going to be gone soon. So the other things, as far the things that I noticed, by the way, one of the best dark rides, I think, and having not gone on the Anna and Elsa thing over in Disney Sea, we'll address that in a second. The Beauty and the Beast ride is amazing. I think probably the best use, besides maybe if everything was working at Rise of the Resistance, the trackless ride technology. I just think it's really, really good.
Now,
really
this ride
well
just
done.
opened recently, right? Isn't that
maybe like a year or two ago?
Okay.
I feel like it was 3 or 4 years ago. I think.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Wait, which one are we talking about?
Pre-COVID, the Beauty and the Beast.
Oh yeah, that's
where they're
that's
like
pre-COVID.
dancing at the end.
Yes, the teacups that you're riding in, and has a great, stunning effect in it. But it's amazing. Oh, Bud's asking about, I think, Space Mountain. I think he's a little behind here on whether it's single or double width seats. I think it's a double width.
Like two people sit.
Yeah.
Wait, the new one or the one that's
the
now?
one that's there now in Tokyo Disneyland. Anyway, the Beauty and the Beast thing, great. The castle actually fairly impressive for the Beauty and the Beast castle as well. Pre-show stuff is good. I really enjoyed that, and I'm kind of going, why didn't we, instead of what we got in Fantasyland, why didn't we get this?
Money.
Like we should have. Well, right. I'm guessing, but it is pretty much the best use. Better than Ratatouille, better than Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Like I said, the only thing that kind of challenges it is the Rise of the Resistance, which I think when everything's working is great. But now, you know, we're in Yeti B show mode there, with part of the effects not working. So that was good. The other thing I noticed, which was pretty wild, a lot of the things were the same or similar, but all the streets seem to be double or triple the width
Wow.
from the US parks, which had an interesting consequence as a result, which was it felt less intimate. Okay. Which that's a good thing, I think, about the US parks. But at the same time, it was crowded and it didn't feel crowded because of that. Like there was just more room to maneuver. It was just wider. All the thoroughfares were, I mean, I can't,
highway.
yeah, they were,
Yeah,
it was like instead of a 2-lane road, it was like a 4-lane road. To give you an idea. So, that kind of stuff, I really enjoyed that park. But again, if I was going and I only had one day to do something, the response is overwhelming what I would do. And that is I would go to Tokyo Disney Sea.
Yeah, because that's totally different.
Without a doubt. Guys, my jaw was on the freaking floor the whole day long. I mean, around every corner, I was just like, I cannot believe how awesome this is, how immersive this is, how they've built everything bigger, taller, more grand. They've themed it better, just all that kind of stuff. For a while, Epcot used to be my favorite park, and we'll segue into talking about Epcot here shortly. This is my favorite park, without a doubt now. And I think it kind of has like some of the elements that, if you remember back, what attracted you to Epcot in the first place, of it being so grand and so adventurous for the time of what they were doing, and they were really going for it in the park, and the idea of having all these huge pavilions and this huge back space of the park. And I feel like, well, the people at the Oriental Land Company just got it, and let's just build a volcano and have Volcania, or as Nemo would say, inside, where you go inside the center of a volcano, and then it's huge. I mean, it's massive in the middle of the park, and then let's build a ride into that, and then let's build another ride in the bottom of it. From Journey to the Center of the Earth to 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, to a restaurant that was there that I didn't even get to go in, to a gift shop that looked amazing.
How did you find like the narration of the rides? Are they all in Japanese? Like, I know when Jen went to Paris, she said like some things were in English and some were in French, which French we understand here as Canadians. So it's not that big a deal. But like, are you going around there and being like, well, I know this is supposed to be a journey to the center of the earth, but I have no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. Yeah. I mean, it short of running some sort of translation program and putting it in your ear or something, you just kind of had to go for the theming and the imagination of the whole thing, and went that way. And quite frankly, it didn't bother me one bit. It just didn't.
Yeah, I don't think it would bother me either.
No, and signage is in both. But like the narration. But you could, I got more into listening to the narration and the emotion, and where they would get excited, and
then you knew something.
Yeah, that sort of thing. But but yeah, I mean, you're missing out a little bit. Would have been cool if in your car you could do a select, this language versus that.
Do they have park maps in different languages like they do?
Oh, I don't know. So that was the other thing. I did not look at a park map for either place. I think maybe once or twice at Disney Sea, I brought it up just to go, okay, where am I right now? Okay, we generally want to go that direction. But I didn't. I just sort of did the organic, old-timey park experience. And then I did use their Fast Pass system, though, which is free for a lot of the stuff. They have two different ones, which is the regular thing that they have. And then they had a 40th anniversary or 50th anniversary of the park. I can't remember which it was. And then they had like a thing where you could buy, and I think I bought a couple rides during the day, but for the most part, I just did the free stuff, and it was great. I can't even begin to describe just this stuff. I mean, Tower of Terror, I still think the best one is in studios. I mean, the fact that the car comes out of the shaft is still a killer effect. I wish they would update, the stuff that happens when you come out of the car, make it a little more realistic on the right and the left, but I still think that's a killer effect. But it was a completely different story about like Harrison Hightower, and he was an adventurer, and there was a tiki statue that like, they talked about it and then it disappeared all of a sudden in front of you, stuff like that. Really good stuff. The transportation in the park was great. There was like a trolley from the front of the park to the back. I rode like Venice gondolas, like free floating gondolas around an area that looked like I was in Venice, and they took you out into the main lagoon and then came and brought you back, all steered by human beings. Stuff like that. They had so Disney Sea actually.
Are you sure they were human beings?
Yes, they were. The Disney Sea is actually on like on the harbor right there, by the way. So they have like a harbor wall towards one part of the park, and there is a Titanic era, I swear, or maybe a little bit later, I don't know, cruise ship that's parked, and you can eat on it, kind of like Empress Lily used. You eat at on the paddle boat in downtown Disney or Disney Springs.
Right.
They had like a full-size ship that they had refurbed and had a bar and had a restaurant and the whole nine. It just was so cool. Indiana Jones was great. Their Little Mermaid area was impressive for the kids.
So it's right on the ocean then.
It's on the harbor. I mean, if you look at Tokyo, Tokyo's an island. Or not Tokyo, Japan is an island, which by the way is way bigger than I thought it was. If you look it up. But I just the journey to the center of the earth ride is great. It's everything that you want it to be, although it's a little bit short, but the lava monster on there is amazing. I mean, so I look, the only thing that I didn't think was great about either one of the parks, and we'll kind of wrap it up with this, is the merchandise was awful. Like literally awful.
Really?
No,
yeah.
No
like,
different,
kind of like
no
everything
different than the domestic theme park.
Yeah.
Like ugly T-shirts or what?
Justin and I were just talking about that today.
Same crap. It was like the Paul Pressler era of Walt Disney World, where you remember where every store had exactly the same stuff in it.
I mean, it's not that different now, really. I mean,
it's a little bit better.
You might run into a few here or there.
You remember where they got rid of all the resort-specific merchandise and then all the ride-specific. It just like for a while, it just faded all away. Well, that's kind of the stage that they're at there, which I didn't understand at all.
They probably have to compromise somewhere. They obviously spend a lot of money, so I guess maybe they're not
big on towels. Like towels are a big thing there, like embroidered towels.
Like tea towels for your
I guess
dishes?
because
or
somebody
like
said,
towel?
yeah, like tea towel type things, because like I said, it gets very hot there and very humid. And I guess they actually use them a lot. Yeah. So I don't know. Two other real quick things. One, the electrical parade there made me realize how much I missed it being in the US parks. Literally, I would have gone just for the electrical parade. It was awesome. And there's video of it on
electrical parade.
Yep, it's the Dreamlights Disneyland electrical parade. There's complete video of the whole thing on INTERCOT's channel, whichever one you go to. Whether
it's not. I thought it was the same one that used to run in Disneyland and Disney World. Did they update it?
I don't remember some of the floats that they use. So
I mean, yeah, they may have added floats. Yeah,
and it seems like the lights are better than they used to be, and all that kind of stuff. Like I remembered it how I like to remember it, only better. Okay, that's the way I can just say. And again, I would spend park admission just to see that. It was awesome. It was like my whole
I always loved
childhood
that parade.
came back
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
Like it was fantastic.
Yeah, I always loved that, and I always loved Spectrum Magic. I always liked both.
Same.
Of those
Yeah,
parades.
same.
I just think the U.S. parks need that. It needs to come back. Period. Like
Also, Paint the Night was in Disneyland. I don't know if you guys.
Yeah,
saw
even
it.
that.
Paint the Night was amazing.
Yeah, I would. I just.
And they just had nothing.
It
Nothing.
really is. It adds such a depth to your experience. Like it is just that icing on the cake at the end of the day that I was like, oh my God.
Yep,
I
always
just
loved it.
Yeah,
What
I
were the
want to
park
come back
hours while you were there? Like how early?
I mean, they were like
open?
9 or 10 o'clock, and I think they were 8 or 9 in the morning till so decent.
Okay.
The only thing I will say though is that as bad as the Epcot successor to Illuminations was, you remember that?
Of course. How could we forget?
Okay. Disney Sea's nighttime thing that went on their water there was that awful.
Mm.
Wow.
Like everything else about the park was awesome. And I was with the folks who work with me on the video production, Taylor and his wife, Emily, and we both came out like towards the end, it appeared to end. They had this big finale type thing. And I was like, okay, well, that would be fine. And then it went on for 10 more minutes, like at low tempo, and then just essentially faded out at the end. And I said to him, what was that? What just happened there? He's like, man, I don't know. It should have ended 10 minutes ago. It wasn't good for that part. And 10 minutes ago, they should have just said, okay, done. Thank you. And good night. Have a safe drive home. And then, but it was bad. It was really bad. So as good as the electrical parade was, the nighttime show at Disney Sea was not good. I would go do something else or go ride some rides. Well, everybody else is doing that. So anyway, that's my recap.
Sounds exciting. So you made it home. You had a good trip.
Yes.
Stories to tell.
I do.
Stories.
Good.
Yeah, and I'm still, by the way, just in case everybody's following along, like I'm trying to space things out because I didn't want to overload everybody. So I've been posting a couple things a day on different things, mostly so far for Disney Sea, and then we'll get into Disneyland Park. I've got a lot of pictures and videos, and there's at least one more John tries out of that where I tried some coffee stuff in first thing in the morning, first day, and looked really, really tired doing it. So, all right. So let's move into something else because there's still a lot of stuff going on here. What do you want to talk about, Epcot or Tiana?
Let's talk about this week. Well, it's been the annual pass holder previews for Tiana.
Yep.
Tiana's Bayou Adventure, if you want
Indeed.
the full name.
Right.
I mean,
but
it kind of has been the preview.
Yeah.
When it's working?
It's supposed to fully
Which isn't very much.
This coming Friday, June 28th. But they have been plagued with headaches. Downtime. There's been days where the virtual queue, you know how you can do it at like 7 in the morning and then at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. They're not even turning on the 1 o'clock ones because they haven't even gotten through the morning people.
Yeah, the one day we had it, we tried, and I was on there at 1 o'clock and gone. Like nothing happened. Like I did it. Sorry, this is completely booked. And then I think it was the first day that they were doing the previews or the second day. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's been going down. There's been a bunch of, words circulating online as to what the problem is. One guy, I don't know if you follow him, he used to be an Imagineer. His name was Jim Shull. I don't know if you've ever heard of him.
No.
Anyway, he hypothesizes that the problem is with the old Splash Mountain. As you were riding, the animatronics were just on a loop and they would say things randomly. Who cares who's riding by? I'm just on a loop saying the same things over and over and over.
Over and over again. Right.
Whereas this is now
triggered.
It's triggered so that when you come by, then Tiana looks at you and says, "Hi, friends. How are you? Isn't this a lovely day?" And the timing is out, so sometimes you'll go by and the animatronic is just standing there. And then yeah, and then like other times other animatronics are frozen whereas other ones are going. Anyways, so they've been having some trouble with that. I've seen video where the power in the building flickers on and off, and people were like in the dark for a couple seconds and then it flickers back on, and it was like
Really?
rebooting the animatronics, and the music was like kind of rebooting, and then everything was out of sync, and then people are getting evacuated from. And anyway, so they've been plagued with a lot of problems, so I don't know how
which is a little weird because it's been there for, I don't know, what, 30 years.
I mean, since
more than that, 32 years.
Eisner ever.
It opened in 92, right? So how long ago is that? That's like, what?
So now some of the other
it's almost 30.
Who are like past cast members have said one thing that they have heard about the thing is that building is, if you think logically, that building is like concrete and water, and everything gets covered in like a layer of like slime, like it's just stagnant water, whatever. And the old animatronics were not as sophisticated as these new ones that they're using, and the new ones don't like the humidity so much.
Oh, come on.
But there's no humidity in Florida.
I get that, but it's like, how far along are we now? Could we not take this kind of stuff into account?
That's like Justin and I were talking about the lights issue they have in Epcot that they put on the ground, but nobody considered the fact that they power wash the walkways every day and they burn out all the time because the water gets in there. Like, they don't.
Somebody said they saw Iger ride it and it was working.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
He wrote it today. He was apparently there when Justin and I were there today. I didn't.
Yeah, it's apparently hit or miss. So you don't be surprised if you go through and there's some things not working. But anyway,
kind of like the old ride.
Yeah.
And we were riding the railroad today, and when you go through that section, and they had all the blast doors down, so you couldn't even see.
Yeah, you couldn't see it. You get no sneak preview or anything.
Yeah, blast doors.
That's what they look like. They do. They look like
glass doors. So.
So that's Tiana. That's going on, and I have a question actually for you guys because I can't wrap my head around something, and I figured all you smart boys would know. Okay, I am an annual pass holder.
Yeah.
So.
Same here.
Maybe some people don't know this, but when you're an annual pass holder, you still have to make park reservations. Whereas my daughter, who is just a normal person that buys a ticket every time we go, she doesn't. She can just wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to the Magic Kingdom today. Away we go.
Yes. Because you're a resort guest. That's only if you're a resort guest, but yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, if I am an annual pass holder and a resort guest.
Yes.
That doesn't get me I still need a park reservation. Okay. So with that said, I've made all my park reservations basically for this upcoming trip. And I basically said, I'm going to the Magic Kingdom every single day, just so that I have something booked.
Right.
But, sorry, let's say I wake up in the morning and I decide, I'm not going to go to the Magic Kingdom today. And I switch my park reservations, say to Epcot.
You can do.
Well, that you can do.
That I can do.
If it's available.
But do I have to be at the Magic Kingdom inside the walls of the park at 1 p.m.?
No.
Oh, are you talking about to
get in the virtual,
virtual queue?
Yes. If I don't get it in the morning for Tiana, then I say, okay, well, then I'm not going to go to the Magic Kingdom today.
I believe that you do have to be in the so for the AP previews, you did not.
Right.
Okay.
But when it opens officially, you will have to be in Magic Kingdom to get in the 1 p.m. virtual queue, just like you do for Guardians or Tron or anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and if you wanted to park hop, you can't park hop till after 2. So you would miss it.
No, they got rid of that.
They got rid of that.
That's gone. Yeah.
I think
it still says in my app, park hopping after 2 p.m.
No, I thought. Well, on certain days, good to go days, you don't have to. I think
no, it's only on the weekend at Magic.
They've made this so
it's
confusing.
very confusing. During the week, You can park hop whenever you want. The only thing is you have to go to your park
primary park, you
Right.
booked it
First.
Like, you got to go to your primary
Right.
park first.
Right.
But then, like, I can walk out the door and turn around.
Yeah, you literally could go to the Magic
You could
Kingdom,
theoretically
walk in,
do
walk
that,
out, hop on the monorail, go over to Epcot.
Okay.
Right.
That's
Which,
I wasn't sure
little
if
convenient.
as a
right,
resort
it was convenient,
guest,
which is a pain.
like, I
but-
can understand the like if you're an annual pass holder like Ian or Justin that like lives there, they want you to make a park reservation. I just didn't know if I'm staying at a hotel, if I still have to make a stupid park reservation, and if I had to be within the walls of the Magic Kingdom to
I
make
don't
that.
think they
The
care.
only benefit. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I think the
Justin.
only benefit you get is when you're staying on property and you make park reservations for that day, it doesn't go against your other park reservations.
right.
Like you're only allowed 5 or 6
Yeah.
It
park
depends on what
reservations.
pass you have, but yeah.
Right. When you staying on property, that you can book 6 and then
For
have
the
another
days
whatever
you're
amount of
staying
days
there.
you're there. Right.
Yeah.
So
Got
that
it.
doesn't go
Okay.
against that.
Thank you for clearing that up. Now I know what I'm doing this week. Appreciate it.
Well, yeah,
Appreciate it,
like
boys.
that. So that whole conversation probably took like 2 minutes, and that's how complicated a Disney World vacation has gotten.
And
The
we didn't
rules are
even cover it very well.
The rules are
No.
just silly. There's no reason why annual pass holders should still have to have reservations. The parks are not that crowded. Like, it's just
No.
when they're too crowded, we're mostly blacked out anyway. Like, most pass holders are blacked out, so they should just do away with it.
I'm not.
Well, I
I'm
can, because I don't have to buy that outrageously expensive pass. You
I
guys
would
have
buy
to
the cheap pass too if I had a choice to buy the cheap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I said. You don't have
Well,
to.
now as a Florida resident, I can actually downgrade my.
Oh,
pass.
Justin, you know what? We missed it. Today was the last day for the shooting gallery. We could have gone over and.
Yes.
By the way,
missed
yeah,
missed our chance.
rumors.
Well,
I mean,
while we're still over in the Magic Kingdom
Yeah.
talking,
yeah.
I was going to say Tomorrowland. Can you imagine? The Frontierland shooting arcade
Mm-hmm.
is being closed down as of today
Yep.
Mhm.
to
And
become just what everyone wants.
everyone
Hey.
wants this.
I want it.
Justin wants it.
Day one,
want
by the way, day one opening of the park attraction at the Magic Kingdom in Walt Disney World in 1971 now is going to become what, Carolyn?
A DVC lounge.
You got somewhere to stretch out.
Get your crackers, your goldfish crackers, and a free beverage, and watch the peasants walk by.
I would say it's not actually it's not technically an original attraction, because when it first opened it had real guns,
Well, but it is. It's
Wait
been
a minute.
there.
What?
Yeah.
like BB guns.
BB guns. Yeah, you would.
Shh.
Bing.
Who loaded them for you?
It came out. It was like in an air tube or whatever that was attached to the guns, and you would. Pew, pew.
Really?
Yep.
I didn't know that. Now,
Yep.
it's
Yeah,
like
and then the
laser.
cast members
Came
would
light.
go around after people finished them and load them back up again.
Oh, I had no
Yeah,
idea.
the digital
But that
ones
makes
didn't
sense.
show up
Yeah,
probably
obviously.
until
Yeah,
I don't know, maybe
obviously. Oh, I never even
probably the
thought of
late
that.
'80s or early '90s. I guess.
Yeah, I was going to guess the 90s, but I could be wrong. But
We played it, especially when it became free. We would do that, but
Well,
now,
yeah, I've done it. I did it the last time I was there. It was fun. I spent a couple minutes there, and kids. But it's the gun thing.
It doesn't.
Well,
To be honest,
I don't know. Like it.
I feel like they
I always
just.
thought it was missing something.
Well, I feel like
you're
they
not.
Just,
You're not 13.
It wasn't.
No,
making
I
money
mean,
anymore.
my
At
son
this
was
point.
13, and even he it needed like a scoring system.
Well,
or
they
like
could have
something like-
right. To your point, Ian, if they would have invested a little bit of money, you actually could have had some fun there. Yeah, I mean, you could have competed against like your dad.
Yeah, see,
and
that would have been
the person
been
next to you,
fun.
and it would have been fun. Okay, all right, let's see who can.
I got 10.
minute,
You got
go.
4.
I don't necessarily have a huge problem with them getting rid of that, because it was dated and silly,
But
and like kids don't care
DVC
about that
lounge,
stuff anymore.
really?
But I'd rather
Yeah,
they replace it with something
listen,
other than a DVC lounge.
That
I'm a
everybody
DVC
can
member
do.
and I love their lounges, but give me something else. Give us something to do, for something for everybody.
I mean,
not
there's
just-
plenty of places where they could put a lounge that's not taking
Sure.
something
That's
away.
prime. That's prime
Well,
real estate. Right?
Like when
I
they made the
think-
Club 33 over whatever that's over. On the
Yeah,
entranceway
but that's
coming
not
in from
replacing
Adventureland.
In
anything.
Adventureland,
Right.
yeah.
Right. But they put that in. They could have found another place over
Yeah.
something.
Like you
and
said,
did
John, a
something.
character meet and greet,
Anything,
or
just please put
a
something
little
there
ice
that
cream
that
shop.
entertains people and can chew up some time. I mean, that's what we used to do, is give people experiences where they would go off the main thoroughfare and then go engage in something and then come back and do other stuff. And yeah, whether it be a character meet and greet or something else, whatever. But I think Ian mentioned this. It was a couple shows back that this just is paving the way for them to get rid of Frontierland. It just seems we're going down that road. I think I saw that construction permits were filed for the Frontierland trading post or something like that, or the shop that's kind of there, right? Right after that.
Yeah,
I think they're doing away with Frontierland, I think.
Yeah,
or maybe
and
they're moving Frontierland to behind Thunder Mountain, and they're going to make this all New Orleans.
So somebody said, which actually kind of makes sense. I didn't pick up on this right away, but like what they could do, which would make a lot of sense, is they could retheme all of that to New Orleans Square, like what they have in Disneyland, because Tiana's in New Orleans. The stuff in between could probably be really quickly kind of flipped over. And
Thunder Mountain fit into New Orleans.
Well, Thunder Mountain will just become part of Radiator Springs. If that's what they in fact do there.
Yeah, if they actually put that back there.
If they are going to build beyond Thunder Mountain, then that could be more Frontierlandish and make this part.
I mean, I don't think that's an if anymore. Like I think they filed permit. Like I'm pretty sure that's like an official project now. I think we can stop saying if on that one.
I'm not gonna say.
Well, I've also heard that they're building a villain's land.
On the other side though.
Oh, it's the other side.
Well, now that Universal is
behind Haunted Mansion.
Oh, okay, I got you.
But you are very correct. The fact that they're limiting something like that for DVC or APs, that's not a good thing. Yeah, I mean, we all paid the same to get into the park, and it's fine if there's extra spots, but to mow down something that now nobody, it's just an exclusive thing. I agree with you.
Right. No, I agree with that.
But you guys are saying that it is now a sure thing that they are.
I'm not. Ian's saying that. I'm not.
Well,
no, I mean it's like been officially announced. Like they filed permits. I mean, it's
not officially announced. Cars is coming.
No, not Cars. Sorry, no. Just the project, not Cars. Yeah, no.
That they're doing
something. Now,
we
have seen them. This is a good little point to transition. We have seen them come out with all kinds of plans, and then if nothing ever comes to fruition, if we talk about Epcot.
Yeah, Epcot's the problem child for that. I mean, let's be honest. So
they just made a big announcement that woo, the reimagining
of
Epcot
complete.
Is done.
We're done.
Mission accomplished. Everybody's super happy. And then
Ian's like,
an empty building. Woohoo!
There is some roasting going on. So on top of the fact that there are a certain amount of people that don't seem happy with the transition from Splash to Tiana, and of course the problems that are going on, whatever. I mean, I think it'll be fine, for whatever.
The people
once
that I trust,
but
oh goodness, Michelle from Main Street Mouse. Like I trust her. She's always very honest. Like she said it's
fine.
cute.
Yeah, it's cute.
She said it's it's not an upgrade. Like you're not going to go on it and be like, oh my god, but it's no worse than like a net neutral.
Right. I mean, it's the same track.
Videos I've seen look amazing.
The big criticism is that there's a lot of blank space. So I think they put a lot into the animatronics that they do use, but there's supposed to be a lot of dead areas,
more dead space than there used to be. So did they journey into imagination it?
I mean, that's again, I haven't been on it yet, so I can't say for sure.
All right. Well, I'm looking. When are you going to go? You guys were talking about.
Well, we're going to try and go the 28th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're all going to try and go the 28th.
I would love for you all to tell me your reaction after you get off it.
You don't need one, Justin. Just get Epcot, and then we'll go over from there.
Okay.
Go over at 1 o'clock.
Take video of your reaction once you get off, and I want to hear what each one of you thought of it genuinely.
I wouldn't. like bank on the fact that we're going to be able to get on.
Right. Well, no, I mean, if you can, but I'm just saying, I would love to hear the reaction. But let's talk about Epcot. Yes,
so
thank you, Carol.
The building with the pokey triangles that we've been looking forward to as like finishing up that central area of, the World Celebration area. They have Communicore Hall, which has a Mickey and Friends meet and greet area, and it has like a little stage area where they've been playing a little Encanto show. And there seems to be
festival treats food place, right?
Festival treats, yep. But there seems to be 3 main complaints. Number 1. The outside stage for Encanto is not covered. So if you want to watch this little cute 10-minute singing and dancing with the people from Encanto, you're gonna roast. Because for some reason, whoever designed this didn't think about Florida weather.
The fact that this park was in Florida.
They recently just put up maybe a half dozen little umbrellas, but
the fact that previously
patio umbrellas.
Previously, where the pin trading was in the center of the park, where they had to add all those like tarp-like things to provide shade, then nobody thought when they're redoing this, maybe we shouldn't make people stand out in the sun. That might be a problem.
Can they bring back some of those sails to hang across? Who knows? But there's maybe like 6 patio umbrellas you can cram under if you want. Then the next complaint is that the Mickey and Friends meet and greet area is fine inside, but the entire line is outside with no cover. So you're going to roast there as well, or stand in the pouring rain right before you go and get your picture with Mickey. So that's number 2.
Great.
Number 3.
Used to be inside, by the way, used to be character connection used to be indoors, right?
Right.
Like you would wait indoors. Okay, go ahead. Keep going.
And then the last one is Communicore Hall there's been a number of different descriptions, but mostly like a airport or gymnasium or
Marriott Convention Center.
College cafeteria. It's a gigantic room with 10 tables and some chairs that looks like you should go and play cards.
The funny thing is, like, they could have at least put some more tables in. It's like even like sparse. Like, did they just have no table budget either? Like, I mean, there's
need more tables.
Yeah, it's like it's just
the
weird.
Walls are like they had this media event and they had it all jazzed up with like banners and TVs,
which we didn't get
playing,
invited to. Not that I'm bitter, but go ahead.
This is why.
This
with
is
like
why
TVs
John's
and
unhinged now.
Look what we're doing over in World Nature and World whatever, and all of that. And then
let's have a dance party.
The next day after the media event, it was like crickets chirping. There's nobody in there. People walk in, turn around, and walk back out. It's a giant white empty room.
Yes.
The crickets are chirping.
The crickets are chirping.
You walk in, there's some white tables and chairs. There's a couple couches and
a couple banners like along the top of it.
Else.
So let me
I don't know what we're supposed to use this space for.
Well, it's going to be festival space,
right?
I mean, when there is a festival going on, they're supposed to put festival things.
What the heck are they putting in there for a festival?
Can I ask a rhetorical question?
I mean, plus they have plenty of festival space already. So
I would like to know what was the advantage of tearing down Communicore West or Interventions West, which used to be Communicore West. The tearing that down, removing all that air-conditioned space, which basically you could have gutted the whole inside of, kept the park symmetrical looking, like actually future looking, and like it had a plan to it, and just torn out the inside of that and used it for whatever. I mean, put a show stage somewhere in there. Put your hall in there, your festival space. Do whatever, and then figure out like behind that you could have put your Moana and all that crap.
So
But I mean,
for festival
why?
things, like I think about like the Flower and Garden Festival because we
Yeah.
often go during March break. So
Hello,
the
Bubba.
Flower and Garden Festival used to be they used to use the Wonders of Life Pavilion, and you'd go in
Right.
there and
Which
there'd be
is a
like
whole other
little
thing.
there'd be little booths set up with like garden gnomes and little
Right.
garden
Yeah,
decor.
yeah, yeah.
And then
Right.
over here we're doing a presentation on how to plant flowers, and over here we're doing, I don't understand how this big rectangle room, how they
Yeah.
would even. Oh, now here comes the Flower and Garden Festival. How do you divide that room up to
But
have all those things? I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it's very conducive to like the festival space that
again, the
they've
point
needed
was
in the past.
they literally, without killing the infrastructure or the look of Epcot, at least at that point, could have just wiped everything out of the middle of both of those, both sides of Communicore West,
Yeah.
the front and the back part, used it for something like that, redid the whole middle part the way that they did it with, which still is okay. I mean, it's all right, but I mean, and still added Moana and essentially, you wouldn't have to tear down all this crap to build what is a Sheraton Convention Center, essentially.
Oh, it's not that nice.
Well, they had to build a new Club Cool.
Yeah, they had to move the Club Cool to the other side. So that's one thing. And
Even
as
so,
Bud
I mean, I
mentioned
don't
here,
get it. A company, by
Nobody
the way,
gets
that looks for ways to save money left and right could have saved a lot of money not tearing stuff down.
Well,
and
you don't know
kept
what
it
kind of shape
cohesive.
the building was in, though. You can't make assumptions
The
because,
other one's okay.
I feel like it would have been cheaper to
Well, on the other
repair it
side,
than
it's the
to
same building,
than to gut it.
built at the
from
same
each one.
time.
Where
Communicore
Connections is.
East.
Like
All
where
that
Where the
is
Connections
Starbucks
and
and-
I
they
thought they
never-
tore that down and rebuilt it.
No,
they just cleared it out.
just
they
cleared it out. Go
reused-
look at the overhead. It's the exact same thing.
They
It never
just
changed.
reused the outside of the building.
Just
Bud
use the
Luskus
shell,
says
redid it.
that
Go
the
ahead.
play pavilion as
Yes.
well. So that was part of like, the reimagining.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. Yeah.
So the Wonders of Life building, if you are not old school Epcot, it's that gold dome building that's in between where Guardians of the Galaxy and Mission Space is. It's like a gold dome. It used to be a whole Wonders of Life pavilion that had rides in there and shows,
including
Body Wars,
Body Wars, and what was the other one? Cranium Command.
And then they had a whole bunch of like
exhibits,
like a science center, like
Sure.
about learning about how your body works and stuff. It was really neat. And
And
then they
Cranium
wiped
Command
that
is
all out.
basically Inside Out.
Inside Out. Yeah, it was kind of the
Yes.
precursor for
Right.
what would become
And then they
Inside
wiped
Out.
Yeah,
wiped all
actually,
that
40
out.
years
Right.
earlier.
Yeah.
And that sat empty forever. And then they started using it as the festival center, like I said, and they'd
Yeah.
have their little displays of like, here's how you pair a wine with chicken.
Which
And
honestly was a
which is
fine
fine.
use
It
of the
was-
space if you're not going to use it as an
Yeah, we went
attraction.
in there for a wine tasting once, and it was really nice.
I guess, but this is what I
$17
was
for like
thinking.
4
Though.
glasses of wine. It was nice.
Go
Like,
Ian.
they have that space,
Right.
right?
Yep.
Which is, to your point, completely unused.
Yep.
They have the Odyssey, which is small, probably not
Right.
big enough for a festival, but they can put some stuff in there.
They do festival-y things in there.
Sure.
They-
And
they-
then they also have that entire huge unused former site of the former Millennium Village.
Millennium Village and the
Where
Israel
you and I
ride
went.
and the
It's
whole
over
yeah.
between like
Yeah.
Canada and England, which is
which they
that
just
is
used
a
for press events.
massive
That is a big
space.
building. Yes.
huge.
massive. And
Or
yeah,
they could have
they-
built it there, quite frankly, and made that permanent. It's like kind of a what do you call it? It's like those bubble domes that they used to put over tennis courts. It's kind of that kind of
Yes,
thing. It's
yeah.
like a permanent structure, but it's
Biodome.
But it's a festival center, so
Yeah,
who
it's-
cares? It
which
doesn't
is-
need to
right.
be like,
fine.
it
Yeah,
could be
but we-
anything. Like
but the
So
point
they do
being, you
have
could
all
have
this
used
extra
that.
space.
Yeah.
And now they have another one. So I don't know. I don't know what they're doing.
Right.
But we were joking that I should go and bring my laptop and like a cup of pens and like
Yeah,
a
and,
phone
And a little fake cubicle, a portable cubicle.
and just set up
and
my
just set up
office
and
this week
work.
and work in Communicore Hall. I don't know. It just seems weird that like if it was going to be this big showcase of like, this is our new festival center, isn't it wonderful that they would open it when there's no festivals going on?
It's kind of weird. Not only that, but now that we're celebrating this completion of Epcot, that after all the walls are down.
Did you say destruction of Epcot? What is it?
Like that would be a good way of describing it. But let's look back. Okay, when we first heard about this, Spaceship Earth was to be redone.
Yes.
Okay, overhauled. Test Track was to be overhauled, but
yes,
that's starting to happen now.
Yeah, so it's the completion of Epcot, but now we're
shutting down Test Track. We were supposed to get a Mary Poppins ride.
Yes, we were.
Or attraction of some.
Well, yeah, it was like it was an attraction.
It might have been like a
right. We were supposed to get a state-of-the-art 3-level festival center that was supposed to go at the in between what was World Showcase and Future World, where World Discovery.
Then that would have sucked up needing all these.
Right, all the stuff, which meant you wouldn't have had to have, by the way, torn down those other buildings.
So then the Wonders of Life building was supposed to become the Play Pavilion, which was supposed to be like a digital Wreck-It Ralph play area thing.
Yeah, who knows what was coming there, because they were always very nebulous about that. But still.
The Play Pavilion, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was sort of never really very well articulated what that was going to be.
All of those things were on the list of stuff that was supposed to be done.
Yes.
For the Epcot.
And none of it. None of it. It's just a big, we got like an empty building.
We got Guardians.
We got some
Guardians, which is great. I mean, I don't want to sell Guardians short. I don't want to make it seem like, all we got was Guardians. That's a great ride.
Spaceship Earth, which look nice at night. We like that.
Yeah, I love the lights on Spaceship Earth. They're gorgeous. One of my favorite things they've ever done, actually. Which, we got a horrible show that got made slightly better and is okay now. I think generally most people think it's okay.
About spending a whole bunch of money and then 2 years
right, and then trashing it. Just
ripping out everything in the lagoon for the water show.
Well, and then the thing I don't understand is like the new floats that they have.
Right.
One of the big complaints about Harmonious was it was an eyesore because they had the giant stuff in the middle of World Showcase.
Yeah.
World Showcase Lagoon. And then these new ones for the new show, they move like the barge did, or like the Globe did for.
So they roll it out for.
Right.
They are mobile. Well, they did because one day, actually multiple days, Trish and I were there, and we got stuck at the drawbridge, and they were bringing them out. Now all of a sudden,
are they just leaving them out there?
Stay there again. Yeah.
Somebody was like, "This is too expensive. We have to hire actual people to
have people drive them." I don't
after know. How many? I don't even remember when all of this was like announced.
Oh, it was like 7 years ago.
Yeah,
more than maybe like more than that now.
And
maybe
really, what did we net out of this?
Nothing.
Water.
We
netted. We netted.
Lost the fountain. We lost.
Well, we lost Ellen's Energy Adventure.
We lost Ellen's Energy Adventure.
So I mean, look, I am in no way, shape, or form going to even try to make the case that Ellen's Energy Adventure and Guardians are the same.
No,
like obviously, Guardians is much better.
That was an upgrade, though, theming wise.
Definite upgrade.
Right. But like on the other side, so Mouse Gears became.
Right, which I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I think Creations is very disappointing. It looks like a Target. It looks really like a Target, weak,
and it smells.
We got a bigger.
Well, yeah, I mean it's not its fault it smells, but yeah, it does smell.
No, it didn't smell before.
There's some. I don't know.
No,
I
try not to us talking on an earlier podcast about it smelling like sewage.
It smells like sewage. Yeah,
it does. There's something wrong in there.
Yeah, there is. There's some kind of like there's some kind of leak. Or
but then we got, instead of the electric umbrella and interventions, we got a bigger restaurant with a Starbucks.
Which I don't really like.
220.
Yeah, which is really cool and really nice. I mean, it's a good restaurant. Oh, I would go way beyond. It's not bad. I think.
I like the whole
But you didn't have dinner there, did you, John?
Yeah.
Didn't you just do
I
the
ate at the
lounge?
bar and ate dinner. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the same. The dinner
The whole
menu
experience is really cool. I wasn't overly thrilled by the food, though. I didn't think the food.
Oh
I
man,
thought the food was just okay
I don't
too.
know.
Yeah,
You guys must have gotten the wrong thing because the food I had there was
But the
really
point
good.
is, after 7
years.
It may be more.
We
may be selling it
Okay,
short.
now I don't want to go too far off the rails, but
we're already there.
Yeah.
okay,
We're way off the
but
rails.
Epic Universe,
Yeah.
just yesterday,
We're
the day
also
before,
almost out of time.
They just
we're almost. Yeah.
they just gave like a sort of computer generated drone
on what it's going to look
preview
like when
of
it opens
what
next year.
One land at Epic
One land, the
Universe,
Monsters Land, right, or
which
whatever.
they're called. That land is called Dark Universe.
Dark Universe.
So imagine like they told you about Adventureland, like one land in this new park, and it looks crazy.
And did you see the werewolf?
They have an animatronic that looks ginormous. Think of like Yeti size. But moving.
But theirs will actually work.
Yeah.
Of course it will.
Even crazier and big, huge, like rah. And they have a restaurant that has a windmill that's on fire. The windmill is like
I know. I want to know how that's going to work. That looks cool as heck.
It looks crazy. And then like the same day, Disney's like, well, we have a new flavor of churro.
they're
feel
lost.
like
I mean, there's
Disney
no doubt about it. They're lost. They're
riding
riding
it in.
They are. But right now it's okay. I had some woman arguing with me the other day that that we're all nuts for not loving the Communicore Hall, that it's a festival space and it's going to be great, and she loves it.
The new Epcot design aesthetic is powered by Starbucks.
She said, I love it. No. Now, if you have people out there
do you love about that?
who will love that,
no matter what,
it's an empty building. Like, let's be clear. It's a big empty space.
It's a shell.
And she loves it. If she's going to love that, why would Disney do anything other than that? Like, I wouldn't if I was them. I mean, I hate to let them off the hook.
Is she the majority, or is she just like a...
Man, I don't know. There's more of them than I would imagine. I mean, it's getting bad. Like, people are complaining more than I think ever before. But there are still a huge number of people that just defend everything that they do. They're just totally fine with it. It doesn't matter. And listen, as a corporation who has a fiscal responsibility to maximize, profits, like, I mean, that's what they're doing. They're doing what they're supposed to do.
I would hope so.
Well, they are, but also
spent all this money ripping out a lagoon show and ripping down a building that didn't need to be ripped down.
The other thing is most companies do some long range or forecasting and planning.
They don't. Well, I think what you're seeing with this whole, like, we're going to invest, $60 billion in our parks or whatever.
I think that's just a signal to the shareholders, Ian. I don't know that'll actually happen. I think that's
it won't be.
We're going to make the announcement, and then I mean,
it definitely won't be $60 billion. That I agree with you on.
Yeah,
but they will spend. They'll spend something. I mean, I don't think they have a choice. They kind of have to. Like,
I just feel like they're coming in a little late.
I think that the tide it's very slow. And look, Disney has had a big edge for years. Well, yeah, I know. but I think they've had a big edge in Orlando for many years. And I think slowly but surely, Universal keeps adding hotels, adding parks, adding attractions, and their quality has gotten much better over the years, and I think it's going to be interesting. It's going to be.
I don't think it's going to be interesting. I know that's like a popular thing.
No,
but I don't.
I mean, you're entitled to your opinion.
I don't. I think it's going to matter.
I think 5 years from now we're going to be having this discussion.
Go after they're done at Disney World.
I don't think that's going to be the case for much longer.
I do. It's not the same thing.
If something
it will never
change.
be the iconic, like, must-do life experience that taking your kids to Disney World is. It never will be that. Man,
I don't know. I don't know. I think they're losing their edge.
It won't. They are
lost your edge.
100%, but it doesn't change the fact that people always lost their edge.
Lost your edge, Maverick.
I think that it will be that
you guys were number 2.
Your families outgrow Disney.
But they always do. And then there's another generation of people coming up who have to take their kids to Disney World.
There was for a while Disney was trying to be like, hey, we have thrill rides too, and they would have like, Stacy's Must Do Disney. They would have like they had like a teenage version where there was like 4 teenagers, and they were like, yeah, we're gonna go on Tower of Terror. This is awesome. Trying to get a piece back of that.
That was Eisner, by the way, trying to bring back the teenagers. Yep.
Right. And I think that maybe Disney is just kind of like, okay, we'll let them go.
Well, they're not, because that's a loss. They're not going to win that market. Like, I mean, now that I live here and I have kids that go to school here, it is just, if you live here, it is not cool to like in that. I mean, my girls are young enough where it's still okay, but they only want to go on the thrill rides. That is all they care about. So like, I'll tell you, my one of the twins who she goes with her friend all the time. They would rather go to Universal. It's just her parents and we don't have passes. So they go and do, they'll go and do but they go and I was saying this to Justin today. They go and they ride like all the thrill rides. That's that's their thing to do at in Disney. Universal. And they'll go to all 4 parks in one day.
Right. Just to ride the
thrill rides.
I understand. So I think it'll be interesting just after Epic Universe opens to see what the buzz is and to see what happens.
It'll probably have a short-term ding. I'm not going to, I don't
know, but
right
I
now
hope it does, because something's got to wake Disney up a little bit, and I just feel like it's
not
been
going to be anything impactful.
Okay,
I don't know.
Again, your view of the world, my view of the world, but I mean, I get where you're coming from too. At the same,
and I kind of feel like somewhere in the middle. I think they're going to take a bit of a hit.
But they will. It'll be a little bit of a hit.
Still going to be. I still think Disney is.
No, it's an iconic brand, but I mean, they've been kind of peeing it away a little bit.
I mean, look at us. I mean, we crank because we care. I mean, we get on here and we talk all the time about how much it annoys us and all the things. If I moved 1,000 miles to be closer to Disney, not only for that, but it's just weather. We all have annual passes. I mean, we all
nicer
go.
People.
Well, one of the things that I did actually was I was a little sick of. First of all, I was tired of only going to Disney World on vacation, and I was sick of paying. I didn't want to give up Disney in my life because it's just been part of my life since I was, I don't know, as long as I can remember. I was going to say 5, but I was into Disney even before that. Yeah, me too. You and I went. I think our first visits were just a few months apart, John. Yeah. And but like even before that, I like Disney movies and all that stuff. The theme park. It's just I'm never going to not have it in my life, even no matter how bad they annoy me, because it's just it just is. But like I just didn't want to pay
your sports team.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't want to pay what they were charging for vacations anymore. Like I wasn't going to spend $22,000 to bring my kids to Disney World every year anymore. So, I mean, there was, like Justin said, there's a lot of other reasons I moved here. I mean, the weather and just, some other, lifestyle kind of stuff. But all right, we are way over.
I thought I'd play you out a little bit. That's just the way it is.
And
love it.
So anyway,
I want to mention the
go ahead.
show over at Springs.
Yeah,
I saw it from the Saratoga side. It's really, really cool. I want to see it from where you're actually supposed to see it from Disney Springs.
Do you hear the music from Saratoga Springs?
Yes, you do.
It's faint, but you can hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I've also heard that if you just stand in like the orange garage, you can watch it and hear it and everything, and it's less crowded than being right at the waterfront.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Speaking of hearing things, Justin, can you hear the fireworks from where you are?
We did hear them a couple of nights ago. Yeah, we do. I'm not sure which one it was, but we did hear some.
They're going off right now, so I was just curious if you could hear them.
I'm in freaking Canada.
I'm in South Carolina. I don't hear it here either. Anyway, be interesting to see, by the way, how Test Track turns out. Supposedly inspired by World of Motion. We'll see just how much
in like
it
2
actually
years. We'll see how
is inspired. Yeah, 2 or 3 years when they open it again. Anyway, do want to say thank you to our sponsor, Magical Journeys, for sponsoring the Intercot Insider podcast and the website, which Carolyn and I are still working on. We're almost pulling into the station, I feel. We're getting there. I'm going to be doing over the next few weeks. I have some time off. Now that I'm done traveling, I can actually focus on getting the site finished. We're going to get something up there, even if it's the 80-20 rule. You know, we'll get 80% up there and work on the last 20%.
Nice.
But it's been a long time coming, and we're long overdue, so we're going to get that launched. But anyway, we do crank because we care. We still love the product that is there. We just want to see it be the best that it can be. Hope everyone understands that. So 100%. For Justin, Ian, and Carolyn, I am still John. We thank you for tuning in for all these years. Have a great month ahead, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye now.
Good night, everyone.
See ya.
Bye-bye.